Welcome to the Becker County Museum Roadshow. Today we are in Richwood at the Richwood Union Church. I am Carolyn Ingebretson, president of the Historical Society Board, and I have with me Allen Knopf. And Richwood is a lovely town. It was formed in 1871, so they celebrated their centennial a few years ago. But today we're at the church, which was built in, when was it built, Alan?
1905.
1905, about a few years after the town was started.
There was a Episcopal church over here that was built before that, but the people that built this here wasn't satisfied over there, so they've come over and built this church.
Isn't that the story of churches?
Yeah. Yeah.
That often happens. This area was inhabited by people from many different nationalities, but a lot of Swedes I noticed in the history books.
Yeah. And that one of the churches that was over here eventually became Lund Church down here.
Okay, the Episcopal Church became Lund Church?
No, the Episcopal Church, I don't know, it just dissolved and disappeared. There was another little church that was the Swedish Church.
Okay. So, the people came, they built a church. They needed a church for weddings and funerals and worship on Sunday, and for Ladies' Aid. Let's not forget the Ladies' Aid.
Yeah,
what did they do?
They raised most of the money for this church in a lot of ways, because according to the records, what they took in on the Sundays wasn't very much. There's some here for, in 1948, they got $2.25 one Sunday.
Oh, really?
The offering.
The offering, and so the women had to...
They had bake sales, they had dinners right and left.
They did.
And a lot of the dinners, if they weren't held here, a lot of the dinners was held across the street at a Mrs. Jensen's house.
Okay, so it was a community church.
Yes.
You know, recently the Historical Society gave back the painting. Tell us about the painting.
Well, it was painted by a fellow from Fargo. Right now the name slips my mind, but anyway, years ago it had been given to the Historical Society because the church closed in 1950, actually.
Okay.
And that was the last of the records that we got of it anyway. And they then later on gave the picture and a couple of the lamps, old kerosene lamps that was in there, to the church there. Well, when we decided to get going restoring, I went in to see if we could get the picture back. Well, it wasn't agreeable at the time. So we eventually got my neighbor over there, Ralph Olson, to come and take a picture of the original picture, and that's what's in the church here now. And he enlarged it and paid for it all on his own.
Okay. So that's an interesting... You're going to get the picture back, though.
Yeah, we're planning to pick it up.
That'll be good.
Yeah.
So tell me some more about this church. It was really a resurrection. Was it your idea?
Well, about 10 years before this took place that we decided to, Pete Johnson and some of the local people decided to get it together and paint it on the outside. It was getting on paint. And we were talking about it one day in 2 years ago, we'll say, in the spring, and we were talking about it. I said, well, we should go and I said, well, let me go look at it inside. And as I went inside and seen how the old stuff was in there yet, the old pews and the old pump organ and that stuff, I decided in my mind it was time to do it. But it needed shingles, and we decided that we had to raise money in order to do it. So we got busy and raised money and got the shingling job done, and another fellow, a friend of mine from Fargo, furnished all the paint for the inside and did all the painting inside.
I heard about that, yeah. Well, did you have an old church supper like they used to have?
Well, we didn't have that, but we had a memorial service the following year.
Okay.
And then we've had a memorial service last year, and then we had a fall service like we did this year, a year ago.
Right.
Too.
Okay. How often is the church used now?
Well, it isn't really used anymore. My idea of it was more for a historical site rather than, but it could be used for weddings if somebody wanted to, or if they wanted to just have a anniversary party or whatever in there. It's more for the historical purpose of the church. Because we have lots of churches around, and most of them are members of it someplace or another anyway. So.
Sure. You have to talk to Eric Bergeson because he is on a mission to restore old churches. Well, thank you so much for spending this time. We're going to go in and take some pictures of the church.
You bet. Yeah.
And I look forward to another harvest festival out here.
Yeah, well, we'll have that. We're going to have a memorial service on the Sunday before Memorial Day.
Okay, call me.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here, Al.